Now, I fully intended for us to do a Flat Earth segment this week that was going to involve Mark Sargent. However, he bores me.
Well,
so instead,
yeah.
I'm going back to the well that I did the 2.5 hour live stream on, the Doka Baptist guy. This Kevin, some boring ass name Doka. Last name Doka.
I mean, sure, he's fun. Okay.
Yeah, and this is in his series of videos that he has out there called Flat Earth Moment. And he has the other ones where it's Jurassic Moment. It's like, think of a new naming convention. Try it. And also, hey, bud, I want to let you know that if you put the blah, 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 blah moment number, whatever it is, at the end of your title, YouTube picks it up. It works better in the algorithm. Just a heads up on that thing there. I mean, little bit behind the curtain look there. And he's using this stock Final Cut Pro intro here of a darkened Earth that's going to have some letters flying over it. I know because I used it myself one time to start out his Flat Earth video. So here we go.
Hey everyone, this is Pastor Tyler Doka with Great Harvest Baptist Church.
Tyler.
And I just want to go over a verse in Genesis 11. If you look at verse 9, it says, "Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth."
I thought you were going to start with 10. What? You're confusing the fuck out of me. Why would you start?
A little bit.
I'm going to start with Genesis 10, but I'm going to start over in 9 because I haven't had nearly enough beers tonight.
You gotta work your way up to it. You gotta lead into it.
So it start with the smaller diameter.
So it's set it up, yeah.
Okay. ease it on in there. Lube works wonders there, Tyler. I'm just saying.
You can't go straight for the 10. You got to start with the 9.
And spit may work in some cases, but it's just weird. I don't.
Yeah.
That's not hot to me. I'm sorry.
So what happened here is, if you look at verse 1, it says the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And then it says in verse 2, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east. So what it's saying is that all the earth was together. And as they journeyed together.
How did you get?
I mean, it's
stupid fucking 2 little lines of Bible that you put out there, and you're like, well, that means that everybody had shoes in their pockets and everybody else was getting snowflakes from their beards. It's like, huh? What the fuck are you talking about, man? How do you know that that's what that meant? How do you know that?
What has always bothered me is how they can take something that is obvious parable. I mean, it's obviously parable and take it literally. I mean, these are the people who can't fucking tell the difference between reality and satire.
It's like, hey, do you remember that time that Dr. Manhattan finished the Vietnam War and, Nixon got his 3rd term as a president? Because that's really what happened, because it says it right here in my fucking book.
Yeah. I have a book that says it.
God.
They went to go build a tower. And as they were building the tower, the Lord came down, and what he did was he confounded their language so that they could not all speak to each other.
He came down, he's like, no, none of that, yeah. No, stop it. No, you're making me mad, don't do that. God is a petulant little fuck in the Old Testament. I don't know how if anybody that's watching this or listening to this has gone back and read the Old Testament anytime recently.
It was God's like juvenile phase. He was a moody adolescent at that point, I guess.
Okay, that's not fair to Tom Hiddleston because Loki's a much more fucking defined character than God was, but Yahweh is a fucking prick, man. And Dark Matter 2525 on YouTube that puts his whole series of videos out about that has Yahweh pretty fucking pegged as a petulant teenager that somehow got to rule his own world kind of thing, and he treats it just as much. So. Right now he's in the emo phase where he's combing his hair over his eyes and saying, well, if you're not gonna love me, I don't love you. I have so many feelings, and I'm gonna go listen to Yellow Card a little bit harder. Oh, actually, I shouldn't make fun. I like Yellow Card. I like a lot of screamo bands and shit. I'm having fun with it. And whatever, don't get so offended.
But then it says he scattered them abroad upon the face of all the earth, the entire earth. And the reason that's important is because every single continent has an indigenous population. So whenever somebody went there,
yeah, it's called African.
I don't think you understand what indigenous means.
Is he thinking like every one of the continents had somebody that sprouted up from it, like just all of a sudden Pikmin their way into fucking existence? And it's like, wait, it'd be interesting to like sit in there and talk to this guy, be like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. Again, this is a parable that was written to explain. It was a story to explain the world
how it's
as they understood it, because there was that question of, wow, there are all these different people that we're aware of that speak different languages. They're all a little different.
Yeah.
So how do we explain that? Well, here's a story that kind of explains it.
Does a shitty job of it, but at least it tries.
Sure,
you know?
sure. But that's how human thought kind of works. You make up a story about something to explain it because you don't understand it, so you just kind of make it up.
All right.
And recorded it. There was always already a population there. There was already people there.
No, that's not how human migration worked.
No, that's not how human migration worked. The funny thing about this is that the Babel story, you would think that if that were something that actually happened, you would find the same fucking story across all of these cultures and people.
Yeah.
Because if they were all scattered because of this one event, they would all have this same. So we were just kicking it in Babel one day and then
building a tower to God, and then next thing you know, here I am. It starts off like every fucking bad anime trope where like somebody gets hammered in the face and they'll be like, huh, and it freeze frames on the hammer to the face, and it's like, would you look at that? That's me. Blah blah blah. Shitty McTitty face. And that's me right before this happened, and I can't believe it happened to me. And then it does the flashback back to, we got tropes, people. We know how this shit works.
You know You're probably wondering how we got here. Well, we decided to build a tower, and long story short, we live in South Africa now.
But according to this guy, they have always been.
We've always been here, but
God, this idiot.
And that is not true of one continent. And the reason for that is
Pangea, motherfucker. I know that's well before humans came into the picture, but yes, they have supercontinents that drift off and become separate continents.
Right.
But guess what they eventually do? They eventually convalesce back in the same fucking, not the same, but they become a giant one landmass again, and then they break apart again because that's how fucking plate tectonics works, you idiot.
Is because there was never people put there because it's not a continent. And this continent is called Antarctica. And what Antarctica actually is, I'm not going to go into depth about it. I'll do that in another moment.
He's not going to go in depth about what Antarctica is.
No, he's not.
Well, I'm going to have problems if he doesn't include Guar in at least half of the explanation of what Antarctica is. So, and if people are wondering, you're not a true fan. No, I'm just kidding. Guar is a heavy metal band that says that they got frozen in Antarctica and they got thawed out by their manager and started playing heavy metal shows. But anyway, their home base is Antarctica, which is anyway.
It's an ice wall that surrounds the entire Earth in a circle. And it's very high, and it's made to keep the waters in, and also to be a barrier, essentially, for the whole Earth.
2018, and this person actually believes this.
Is there
ice wall?
Right.
Does he want to explain how you can fly around the planet? I mean, they don't want to ever explain that one, where You saw the challenge that there was a certain guy put out a challenge, like $100,000 challenge to a YouTuber.
Yeah, the $100,000 challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he says, I want you to fly 5,000 miles in one direction, take a 90-degree turn, 5,000 miles in that direction, take a 90-degree turn, and then tell me where you end up. If you don't end up back where you started, then the flat earth is real. And like every pilot that is also a skeptic on the planet took the challenge and went like, yeah, you end up exactly where you come from.
Right. Because that's how it works.
Fucking idiot, man.
And the reason that people believe it's a continent, obviously, is because of the globe, and they're taught that it's a continent, and they're taught that people are not allowed there because of scientific reasons. But if you just look at the Bible says that the people...
No, we're allowed there for scientific reasons. Yeah. That's the thing.
You're allowed there. You can go there as a tourist.
You're not allowed to have a military there. That's what the convention between all the countries is.
You can go there, but the reason that there are some, it's not prohibited, but the reason there's some rules and regulations about going there is because it's fucking dangerous.
Yeah. Okay, I have it here because the Mark Sargent video I was going to do was about Robert Byrd's trip to Antarctica. So he's kind of brought up a lot of the same stuff, just not the hollow earth theory and the lands beyond theory that they talk about sometimes. Because this guy wouldn't believe lands beyond. He would believe firmament began at the top of the ice wall. And you have the glass dome on top of it.
Right. I mean,
anyway.
What kills me is they completely forget about the fact that boats circumvent Antarctica all the time.
Circumnavigate or circumvent?
Circumnavigate. Yeah.
Okay.
They circumnavigate Antarctica all the time.
The Antarctic Treaty was signed in 1961, bans all military activity in Antarctica. The only military operations permitted are those that directly support scientific research programs and things like search and rescue operations. The main objective of the treaty is to ensure that Antarctica will always be used exclusively for peaceful purposes. Yeah. Military activities such as weapons testing, nuclear explosions, or disposal of nuclear waste is prohibited. The biggest impediment to venturing inland is not that the military will prevent you, but that the extreme cold and hostile conditions will probably kill you unless you are very well prepared.
Right.
I.e., the guy that tried to backpack across the thing with like his sled kind of thing where he was walking the whole fucking thing himself. He was going to cross Antarctica. And he got really fucking close. He almost crossed all the way through.
Yeah.
But eventually he succumbed to the conditions that fucking place is not hospitable to human life.
No, and it's big. It's big, so it's hard to have enough it's hard to take enough supplies with you to actually make that journey.
Yeah, because he was doing it on foot and on a sled.
Yeah, in terms of food and fuel, and it's just really hard to do.
It says here that also the Antarctic Treaty says that a number of areas are also prohibited under that treaty, but they require permits to venture into them, not to prevent exploration, but to preserve the ecosystems that are there.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, things live there. So
yeah.
All right, and it says here, many tourists visit Antarctica every year, and some have ventured cross-continent. Like I said, unless you are very well prepared, it is unwise to attempt this. Many people have died trying to cross the Antarctic continent. So, no fucking ice wall. There's
no.
People were scattered abroad upon the whole face of the whole Earth, the entire Earth. And there's a reason that Antarctica has no indigenous population, because
it's fucking cold.
Yeah, because it's inhospitable to human life.
It's not a continent, and it's not part of the Earth. It's something separate. It is an ice wall that surrounds the entire Earth, and it was never meant for habitation. But now people are going there to protect it so that nobody can see what's actually happening.
Jesus, man, come the fuck on.
It's get on a boat. And you can sail all the way around Antarctica.
But somehow to them, that would mean that you were circling the inside of the ice wall, is what they would think, kind of.
Sure. I mean, of course, that's what they would say. It's let's move that goalpost just a little bit further, just a little bit further. Well, why is the, because they wouldn't, they'd come up with something to account for the massive difference in mileage.
Oh, they'd be like, well, that's just relative or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you can't use that word. You're not allowed to use that word.
No.
And that's it for this moment, but I'll cover Antarctica in another moment, the whole ice wall and everything like that. All right, God bless.
Yeah, I really needed God bless on this low quality that you have going on here, followed by a fucking stab from a keyboard to start a song off. And it's like,
I don't. The
fuck my ears,
thing
right,
kills
Tyler?
me.
Fuck my ears,
The ice wall idea just kills me because it is the stupidest fucking idea.
And just, he's in charge of a bunch of people that are listening to him word for word, and they're eating up every fucking morsel of it. They're not questioning it. They're not thinking about it. They're just taking what he says as the gospel because he is the preacher. So, it's a sad moment in U.S. history. God damn it. Flat eartherism is fucking back. I can't believe this shit. I can't fucking fathom how this came. I mean, I understand how it did because people are getting more and more dumb as time goes on. So
sure, yeah. Well, and people are losing their ability. They're losing their ability to think critically about things. But it's just the easiest thing to disprove, and it doesn't make sense.
It's not hard. It really is like the most benign and pedantic shit that you can prove. It's like, hey, how about that GPS that we have going on there? It's like, well, that's only the satellites do this.
Yeah, the satellites are fake.
Okay, so you have 3 of them that help triangulate your position. Okay, got it. But you do realize that there's a 4th one to determine elevation, right?
Like you realize you can see satellites. You know that, right?
You can watch the ISS fly overhead on some nights.
Yeah.
You can see that thing traversing the sky.
Mm-hmm.